Hello, welcome to History Chats this afternoon. We're going to get started in just a couple minutes. As always, we're just going to, let me turn myself down here. There you go. We're just going to get some, let some people join here. If you're watching live, just hang out for a couple minutes. If you're watching after the fact at the recording, that's great too. We're just going to, skip ahead about 3 minutes, and that'll get you to the program. But yeah, so we're continuing our Historic Preservation Month observation here with a new historic district. We'll learn all about that in just a bit. But hey, while you're here, I'm going to tell you about some stuff that's coming up. So this weekend, as if you're watching this the day of or day or two after, on Saturday the 14th of May, we're going to actually have an open house here at the Marathon County Historical Society. If you ever wanted to see what where we store things, what kind of things we collect, ask us questions, whatever. We're going to have tours of some of our places, and as well as just some stuff that you can come out and see, some cool things that we don't get to take out very often. So that'll be a lot of fun. That's going to be this Saturday at 1 to 4 p.m. So we're going to do it for a little while there at the Woodson History Center. And while you're here, we actually have an event as well. So at 2 o'clock, there's a new book that's being published by the Wisconsin Historical Society Press, I believe. And we're going to be having the author here. It's all about a woman named Clara Poggle, who was a Wausau native who traveled the world. And so Janet Newman, the author, is going to be coming and talking about how, found all the stories and doing a little bit of a discussion about this. So that's always fun. So if you're looking for a time to shoot to come here to see the open house, make sure that you're here at 2 for the book thing here. So that'll be a lot of fun. Yeah. And I guess if you're not aware, also on Sunday, we're going to have our walking tour. So that you can come and get more information on that. It's also out there on social media and stuff. But that'll be depot to depot. I didn't put a graphic up, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. But that'll be depot to depot. So it's a historic walking tour in downtown Wausau. It's a lot of fun as well. So yeah, more information on that is out there. Yeah. And then finally, since we have some time, our next History Speaks is coming up, not this weekend, but next weekend, the 21st of May. And so that'll be a fun program. So Don Schnitzler from Marshfield is going to be talking about the history of Marshfield, which is actually celebrating 150 years of existence as well. So he's going to tell us a little bit about where it came from. And, for those of us in Marathon County, Marshfield's kind of an important place, our neighbor to the south there. So learn a little bit about them and their history. So there you go. There's some fun stuff coming up history-wise. Hope you consider joining us for some of these. And we will be, continuing to share what we can here and there. Busy week and a half there for us. But we're happy to do it. All right, I think we've got to the point here. We're going to get started. Why don't we just jump in? Gary Gisselman is going to tell us about Highland Park. There you go. Take it away.
Thank you, Ben. Good afternoon, everyone. So today, as part of Preservation Month, we're going to be specifically speaking to the city of Wausau and its historic districts, and then highlighting one specific one, the Highland Park Boulevard area. So there's a couple different stories intertwined today, but we'll be talking about both of those stories a little bit. So first of all, about the Highland Park. If you're not familiar with the Highland Park area, it's just really east of the Historical Society, up off of 10th. We'll draw those lines a little bit later, but it's basically on the east side of the city of Wausau, coming up from Fulton or Fulton Street, McIndoe Street. You can get up in that neck of the woods pretty easily, straight here from the Historical Society on the east side of the city of Wausau. So the Highland Park Historic District, consists of a total of 43 residential properties with construction dates between 1926 and 1973. So here's a map of the district outlined in the red dots, involving a variety of different houses, as you can see, and a variety of different streets. But the Highland Park District is part also of one of two plan districts in the city of Wausau with boulevards. The other one is the Eau Claire Boulevard District, which is also an historic district on the southeast side of the city of Wausau, basically starting with the Eau Claire Boulevard area and a variety of other boulevards on that southeast side down by the airport in that area, so off of Grand Avenue. So that is a planned area, planned in the 1920s with boulevards, and that this is also an historic district in the city of Wausau. And then, of course, the one we'll be talking about today is the Highland Park District, which is, like I said before, up on the east side of the city of Wausau. Just another arrow to point a little closer to that district in that area. So this defines it a little bit further. So up off of 10th Street, bordered by 10th Street, McAdoo Street, and then Hamilton Street on the north. The Highland Park Boulevards, most of the streets are the Highland Park Boulevard name. There's also Kreutzer Boulevard and an Everest Boulevard as part of this district. This goes back to this district, this area was plotted back in the 1920s, 1926. This was an ad that shows up in the Wausau Daily Herald back in 1926 when they were selling lots for $5,000 and up. So this was really started to be an exclusive part of the city of Wausau up on East Hill. The city of Wausau, through its Historic Preservation Commission, designates historic districts. It also designates historic landmarks within the city of Wausau. One of the big jobs of this commission is to designate specifically historic districts within the city of Wausau. And the Highland Park District is a Class 2 historic district, just a little bit from the ordinance. It has to be recommended by the commission, a special character or a special historic interest or value as part of the development, heritage, or cultural characteristics of the city, state, or nation. So it is a special part, a special character, a special historic note of the districts that we have in the city. And in the creation of historic districts within the city, we have specific criteria that we really have to live up to, speaking to reflection of broad cultural, political, economic, or social history of the nation, state, or this community. Perhaps as a historic person, so that if a historic person resided within this district, and we'll talk about that a little bit. And then also an architectural type or specimen or an architect that was specifically noted within this district, and we'll talk about that also. And then, of course, by notable works of master builders, designers, or architects, and we'll speak to that. So there is criteria. So when the city decides to create an historic district, there is criteria that the commission has to follow and designate an historic district. There are other historic districts within the city: the Downtown Historic District, the Andrew Warren Historic District, which the Historical Society sits in, the East Hill Historic District, which is a little further up, pretty much on both sides of Franklin Street, the Eau Claire Heights Historic District, like I talked about before, on the southeast side of the city of Wausau, and then the Highland Park Historic District, which we'll go into a little bit more today. So here we are. This when we talk about boulevards, this is the entrance into Highland Park. Note the boulevards. A key part of this, like I said before, a planned area within the city of Wausau. So just a couple different views of the boulevards and the what the terrain looked like. It's on a hill, which gives it certainly an historic and certainly a cultural flavor to this district. This is one of the sites. This is Kreutzer Boulevard, one of the side boulevards that comes off of Highland Park Boulevard. So let's talk about some of these houses. Let's talk about some of the significant houses that we have up here. We're sort of limited this afternoon, so I don't have a chance really to go into an extensive review of some of the noted buildings and houses up on the Highland Park area, but there are a few that I do want to talk about. One would be the Woodson House at 1100 Highland Park Boulevard, built in 1954. The square marks the location of the Woodson House on Highland Park Boulevard, coming off of Everest Boulevard, off of McIndoe Street. And of course, this is the house of A.P. and Lee Woodson. After they left the Woodson House here on McIndoe Street, they built another house up on the Highland Park area in the 1950s. Of course, A.P. Woodson and then Lee Yawkey Woodson, the daughter of Cyrus and Alice Yawkey, with their house across the street. Noted lumberman. A.P., who of course was a sort of an aide to Cyrus Yawkey for many years, taking a very noted role in the business life of this community after he came back to Wausau in 1914. So great leaders within the city. They had this house built, like I said, an international style of house, very flat, very horizontal. There was some roof treatments that has been done, but the windows, the very window bands surrounding the house is one of the notable features of an international style of house, and this was designed by some local architects. The next house that I want to feature this afternoon is the Everest House at 1206 Highland Park Boulevard, built in 1925. One of the early houses in the neighborhood, of course, built by David Clark Everest, coming to Wausau around 1910 to build and to manage the Rothschilds paper mill, Marathon Corporation. A very influential, also a very influential business person in the city. And then in 1925, an article in the newspaper says that Mr. Everest is purchasing a tract of land 275 feet by 165 feet on 12th Street between Fulton and Adams, modern residence, the plans of which have been drawn by architect Eschweiler of Milwaukee. We'll talk about that in a couple minutes. But this site has a splendid view of the city. Up on the hill, it was one of the first houses up on the hill. And this is a little bit of an idea of where this house sits between Everest Boulevard and Kreutzer Boulevard up on the Highland Park district. It was designed by Alexander Eschweiler, a noted architect from Milwaukee. He is noted for a variety of other buildings and houses in the city. His buildings and houses in the city form also on the National Register a thematic of register of his buildings. a very noted architect, and Mr. Everest engaged Mr. Eschweiler to design this house. It's described as a variety of different types of styles. That some, in describing the style, it's described as a Mediterranean. It's described as an English-Spanish Baroque style house. It's as you can see, a very large house coming up off within the setting of the boulevards. But you can see, if you get a chance to up close, you can see the very fine detailing, the tiled roofs, great sort of a little bit of a manor really up on the hill, a very large house, perhaps the most expensive house sitting up in the Highland Park area. Just a couple different views of this house. And this is a little bit of a close-up of the main door as you would be entering, coming into the house itself. So Everest, again, Mr. Everest, a very important person through a good part of the 20th century in the city of Wausau, and that is that Everest house that he came to build in the 1920s. The other house that I want to speak a little bit about is the Charles Manson house at 1224 Highland Park Boulevard, built in 1938. And when we say built in 1938, most of these houses were built over a variety, over a length of time, sometimes 2 to 3 years. But this house was started in 1938. And this is tucked up on the northeast side of the district, up off of Highland Park Boulevard. Built by Charles Manson, a local businessman who hired Frank Lloyd Wright to come to Wausau and design this house. This house is one of two designed by Frank Lloyd Wright in the city. The other one is the other Frank Lloyd Wright sits on Grand Avenue. It was the Wright family house at one time who originally had the house built. But Frank Lloyd Wright, of course, the noted international architect, designed this house up in the Highland Park. And it's described as a Usonian. You notice how it sort of lays within the land very, Frank Lloyd Wright, of course, was a very natural architect. He tried to blend a lot of his buildings into the landscape of the terrain, and he certainly did this with this house up in Highland Park Boulevard. It's undergoing some construction. It's going revitalization, so it is undergoing some, as we can see, some remodeling, some work being done. So if you go up into Highland Park today, you'll see it being worked on. So you may have to wait a little bit for it to finally see the finished product. I'm not sure when this project will be done, but it is being worked on. This house is being worked on as we speak. The last house that I specifically want to talk about is the Koss House at 1217 Kreutzer Boulevard, built in 1948. Another photo, and this was built by Irving Obel, a local architect. He was instrumental in a lot of buildings, a lot of houses within the city of Wausau. And quite a unique building into itself. I must say that a lot of the buildings, a lot of the houses up in the Highland Park district were built by local architects. Like I said before, I don't have the opportunity today to spend much more time with regard to some of the other houses, some of the other distinguished houses, architecturally significant houses within the district. But I think walking the district, you can get to notice that it does have a variety of different styles, very noted styles within the city. And we're talking today pretty much about the city of Wausau's historic district. The Wright House, the Everest House, as well as the Frank Lloyd Wright House, the Manson House, both are on the National Register of Historic Places. The Highland Park District has just received listings on the State Register of Historic Places, and it is now being worked on for the National Register of Historic Places. So hopefully within soon, the Highland Park District will be on the National Register of Historic Places. The other two districts on the National Register in the city would be the Andrew Warren Historic District and the East Hill Historic District, both on the National Register. So those two districts that I just mentioned, of course, are quite notable, and the National Park Service and the State Historical Society have noted that those districts are quite notable architecturally, culturally, and the Highland Park District now is working through to eventually, hopefully, be on the National Register soon. So we await the National Park Service's determination for that. So it's really a significant district within our city. So if you get a chance, it's really easily walkable. Take a look. A variety of the different houses that are part of this district are really quite significant. So take a look, walk the district, get to enjoy this part of the city of Wausau. I must also mention that this Marathon County Historical Society does have a walking tour book for the downtown historic district called the Bull Falls Historic Downtown Wausau, a little walking tour book. And we also have a little walking tour book of the Andrew Warren Historic District. So we're trying to recognize some of the architecturally and culturally significant parts to our city, and we look forward to the Highland Park soon joining that list of great architecturally historic, significant districts within the city of Wausau. So I hope you enjoy the district. I hope you can have an opportunity to take a look and enjoy what we hope will be a new National Register district within the city of Wausau. So I'll turn it back to Ben.
Yeah, it's quite the place. I guess I have to apologize. I assumed it was already on the National Register, and so if you're watching live, the description probably says that. I'll make sure that I change that for the recording here. But still an important district on the state level and recognized by the state recently and well as locally. Yeah. I guess this is your chance if you have any questions. I'm just going to also let you know, so we are continuing on next week with some more local history. On this, we're going to talk about Marathon Park, or the fairgrounds, which there are a lot of historic buildings that past and present that are interesting story. And that is actually I think as a district on the National Register of Historic Places. So hopefully something that the Highland Park will be added to in the future. So yeah, that'll be next week at 12:30 on Thursday. We'll talk about the fairgrounds and Marathon Park. So that's always a lot of fun. All right, I think the delay is gone through here, so I'm just going to take a quick look. All right. Of course, as soon as I hit, we decide to call it, that's when the comments will go in. So I apologize if someone's typing, but I think we're going to maybe call it there. And again, come on out this weekend for our open house and the walking tour and all sorts of fun stuff happening. Hopefully we'll see all of you there. And in the meantime, have a wonderful afternoon. And yeah, see you next time.